Quickly getting this started, last week, and I was going to talk about this on Thursday, but I wasn't here. But last week, the usual bastard Joe Manchin, so-called Democrat, he is not, Democratic senator from West Virginia, he said last week that he's going to oppose every single nominee for every single EPA post until Joe Biden halts what Manchin describes as Biden's radical climate agenda. God damn, somebody needs to wash Manchin's mouth out with soap. I mean, radical climate agenda. Biden is doing everything that he thinks he can. He could be doing a lot more. But while the planet is heating up to the point of insanity, this bastard senator from West Virginia calls it a radical climate agenda to try to get any kind of slowing of what we're doing to the climate. Manchin delivered that ultimatum just one day, it was last Friday, one day ahead of the EPA's planned rollout of the EPA's new carbon emission standards for new and existing power plants. Manchin said he's so worried that the rules would cripple the coal and gas-fired power plants. Oh, you lying son of a bitch, you're afraid it's going to cripple your income from coal companies in which you have a huge stake. Joe, you lying cowardly son of a bitch. Why don't you say the truth? Nah, he can't. In a statement, Manchin said, quote, if the reports are true, now there's your key right there. The reports are the conspiracy theories and the bullshit that are coming out of the Christian fascist movement. But Manchin says, quote, if the reports are true, the pending EPA proposal would impact nearly all fossil-fueled power plants in the United States. Well, no shit, you moron. That's the whole idea. But he went on, which generates about 60% of our electricity without an adequate plan to replace the lost baseload generation. Now, see, this is where I lose my shit over Manchin. There is an adequate plan. There have been several adequate plans, but scum like Manchin always vote against them, so they can't be put into effect. All the EPA was going to do was to unveil, and I think it did, this is what has Manchin's bloomers in a wad, the EPA was going to unveil power plant emissions performance standards that would have leaned heavily on the deployment of carbon capture. Carbon capture, Manchin, you ignorant bastard. Or hydrogen technology, you ignorant bastard. Nobody's going to take your money away from you, you slob. And the EPA was going to lean on the performance standards that would bring that about in order to clean up the electric sector, which accounts for about 25% of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions. So what did the EPA want to do? What was the Biden suggestion? Deployment of carbon capture technology. It's available. It would cost the coal and gas-fired plants money to install this stuff. But Manchin doesn't want them to install it because the money spent to install this would be money out of his pocket, is the way he must be thinking. And the hydrogen technology, some of which is available now. But Manchin doesn't want that because it might cut into the money that goes into his goddamn pockets. Manchin, you son of a bitch, at some point you're going to be gone. And let's hope it's not too late to recover some of the damage that you've done. Oh, man. These Christian fascist politicians, I don't give a shit if they're Democratic or so-called Republican. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.